Okay, for the next piece, now what we're talking about is kind of the middle portion of the body. So mainly what we're focusing on is the position of the pelvis, the hips, and the lower back. I'm not worried about the feet right now. I'm not worried about the upper body. I'm just worried about what's happening kind of from here to here. And this is a really common problem I'm finding for a lot of people, because maybe it's because we sit in chairs too much. I'm not sure what the reason is, but we don't really have good awareness of position or good control over the muscles that position our pelvis and our hips and all that stuff. So couple drills that first of all, what we're trying to get people to do is to flatten their back, okay, and tuck their pelvis under, right? So tucking their hips underneath them a little bit, okay? If you're familiar at all with gymnastics, or if you're a CrossFitter, you're probably familiar with what is called in gymnastics the hollow body position. And that's a position where my lower back, my lumbar spine is nice and flat, it's not arched, and my hips, my pelvis is tilted underneath, okay? And that's also locking down my rib cage. I'm engaging my abs, I'm engaging my glutes. So all of this is in a nice, tight, stable position. All we're doing is we're doing that standing up rather than swinging from rings or flipping through the air, okay? So when I get the hips tucked under, okay, and I want that flat back position, not an arch back position. If I'm just cueing somebody and I'm just telling someone to do this, I'm finding that people have a really hard time accessing this area and knowing what to do with it. So what often happens is, I'll have somebody, okay, tuck your tail under or hunch over, and then what happens is they do this. So they bring their upper body forward rather than bringing their hips underneath their shoulders. All right, so that's actually what we want them to do. So the things that I have found are useful for this are to get people on their back and to do, one of maybe a few different exercises to get them kind of tilting their pelvis underneath and then engaging the abdominals the right way. So the easiest exercise, I'll go from the easiest to the most difficult. The easiest one, make sure I stay in camera here, is I'm just going to lay on my back, keep my lower back nice and flat on the mat, and all I'm going to do is just raise my knees up. Trying to do it without using momentum. And again, these aren't meant to be a workout. They're meant to build awareness of position. If there's a little bit of a burn that happens, that's good, because it's going to make you aware of that part of your body. But it's not meant to tire you out or to turn it into a conditioning workout. That's why we're not really doing a ton of reps of these. So, maybe do a quick set of 10 of that. Maybe a little bit harder exercise is you can go under your hips, legs straight, and just lift the hips straight up and down. So same idea. And then again, for those of you that are really familiar with the hollow body position, any of the hollow body drills that you do, all the way up to a hollow body position, doing rocking, all of this is really, really good for solidifying that position of the low back and the hips, and then locking the rib cage down. So then we would do that, do a quick set of whatever those exercises are, whichever one you want to do. Pop back up, try to feel that same position. Now you're in a standing position, and then go back to your shadow boxing. Okay, and for the last, or the third of the different sections, we talked about the lower body, middle of the body, now we're talking about the upper body. And in particular, what I'm trying to get my clients to do is to pop out their mid-back. Okay, essentially what they're doing when they actually do this is they're kind of curving their thoracic spine a little bit, and then they are protracting their scapula, their shoulder blades. Okay, so a really simple drill. Again, this is another area, just like with the hips and the low back, people don't have a good awareness or control over this part of their body, and it takes a little work to get them to feel what that's like to get that hunch position, right, or to do it deliberately. Ironically, a lot of us spend too much time in this position anyway when we're hunched over a desk and we're in front of a computer. But it's hard actually when people want to do it consciously, they can't. So one of the drills that I have my clients do, again, as this part of this warm-up series, is I'll do a scap push-up or a push-up plus, depending on how different names I've heard people say. So what you're doing is you're at the top of a push-up, and what you'll see is clients actually have a hard time doing this without bending their elbows, because they're so used to just doing a push-up that they have trouble just moving this part of their body. And what they actually should be doing is, with locked arms, I want them to shrug and push the ground away, and then relax, and push the ground away, and then relax. So when I'm pushing the ground away, that's when I'm popping out that mid part of my back. So I want to get that feel of what that's like to do that. It's also actually a really, really good drill to keep your shoulders healthy. So it's an added bonus there in terms of doing this in part of your warm-up. And then again, just like with the other drills, you do a quick set of 10 maybe, and then you get up, again, pop out that back, okay? And then now you're in closer to a good strong hunchback position. Keeping in mind all of the other pieces that you've done. So keeping in mind keeping a strong ankle, keeping the hips tucked under, and then now popping the back out, locking the rib cage down. Now I'm in a good tight position and I can move from there.